To our modern society, it might be hard to relate to these images. But believe it true, humanity really did grow to this size. Perhaps you're wondering what humans call people like this. Well, they called them fat. They suffered from obesity, one of the deadliest conditions ever. However, at the time, it was a sign of wealth and prosperity. As the decades passed, we began to see major developments in modern science and how information was distributed. Because of this, society began to learn.
Could you situate us a little bit with the problem? The problem of obesity is, on one level, a very simple one. Anyone who eats more than they need will become fat.
We began to move more, eat healthier, and educate one another. And collectively, as a planet, we came together and decided to end obesity forever.
We are not just fat people. We are people.
I do agree that there is stigma that I have to deal with because I am fat.
Because the real elephant in the room here is fat phobia.
These are my arms. These are the arms that I have. It's not my problem that you don't want to look at them.
Let's all gain 300 pounds and be fat.
Thinness does not grant you a better life. I do not owe you thinness.
I am fat and beautiful, and I am worth every bit of space that I take up.
But these women are dying.
America is facing a major health crisis.
Britain is too fat and is getting fatter, and doing nothing is not an option.
2.7 billion adults will be overweight or obese by 2025.
Researchers say it's particularly alarming in the developing world.
This country is getting fatter.
People are dying from avoidable diseases caused by obesity, such as diabetes, heart disease, and cancer.
Did you know cancer research were called fat shamers?
Well,
it's ridiculous.
Okay. The solution is their own hands.
This is a person that's eating themselves to death, you fucking assholes.
Yes, despite knowing about the health consequences of obesity for centuries, humanity has continued to get fat. Unhealthy fast food restaurants have filled the high streets, chronic diseases have skyrocketed, and physical inactivity is far more conventional to us than generations before. We are amid a global epidemic, yet some don't necessarily choose to look at it that way.
1050 W18, New York.
Hello, New York City. Thanks for tuning in on this beautiful summer's day. The date is June 4th, 1967, and boy do I have news for you. It looks like Central Park is occupied today by around 500 fat protesters celebrating obesity. They are calling it the Fat Inn, and people can be seen eating ice cream, holding signs, and burning exercise books. I'll be sure to give you more information when I can.
God bless America.
My name is Dr. Christopher Salute. I am the CEO of Bold Media and Bold Magazine. This movement came around like the 1960s, 1970s, like late 1960s. People started to protest against anti-fat and biases. And I think, after that, there were many different divisions, many different sects of fat acceptance. But I would define it as the acceptance of a fat body and the anti-fat.
The fat acceptance movement looks to change anti-fat bias in social attitudes by eliminating and raising awareness of discrimination towards overweight and obese persons.
Most people in society do not like me because I am fat.
Within the past 2 months, I have been the unwilling participant of a verbal attack in public, once waiting for a bus on a street corner, another time on a bus with vicious language.
About what?
Pardon, about my size.
That if we could break some of the myths associated to being fat.
What myths?
What myths?
Yeah.
It's unhealthy.
Being a slob, being dirty, being dumb, being lazy, stupid. Thin people always have a good sense of humor. Fat people are jolly.
The movement has been incomparable to victories concerning civil liberties, women's rights, or the attitude towards those who identify as LGBT, we have continually stayed unkind to fat people.
Fat bastard.
For most of us, the movement has been seen as nothing more than a historical and social footnote, but the 2010s have offered people a magnifying glass in which to view that footnote. This decade of social media and technological obsession have given fat people a platform and community to truly redefine and spotlight the movement like never before. As the movement has grown in supporters, as has its influence, and nothing confirms a new age of mainstream fat acceptance more than this.
They call her the first size 22 supermodel. Tess Holliday appearing boldly on the cover of Cosmo UK.
I didn't expect it to go global and for everyone to be talking about it.
But everyone is. Thousands showing their support on social media, some using the hashtag Representation Matters, writing, "This is easily the best thing I've seen this week." Major props to Cosmo UK for a genuinely body-positive cover.
The message that I wanted to put across, the message that did get across was that, like, things are changing.
That's right. Things were definitely changing. In October of 2018, 20-stone Tess Holliday infiltrated the fashion world to grace the cover of Cosmopolitan, and the world had no idea how to react. What did Tess Holliday's cover represent? Well, there was one man who could answer that question for us. Britain's greatest national treasure, Piers Morgan.
This is the cover of Cosmo magazine. This apparently is supposed to inspire positive thoughts about body image.
Yes, it's about acceptance, Piers.
Yeah, she's 300.
Everybody
She's
looks
300
like a
pounds. This
supermodel
model from
size.
LA. She wants us to believe in the interview she's never been happier because she's never been heavier. Have you ever met anybody, male or female, has ever said that sentence and meant it? How can that inspire anybody to be anything but very large?
Reflecting her body.
That people come in all shapes and sizes.
Oh, please. That is not a role model image that you should be encouraging young people to aspire to be.
Accept your body.
The British public
Stop fighting it.
completely agree with me. Is this a positive body image? 5'3" and 300 pounds. How many said no? 78%. She continues to want to be celebrated for being 5'3" and 300 pounds. I keep saying, I'm sorry, that's not to be celebrated.
Something you just said, though.
She's morbidly obese. When you're that big, you can die.
The fat acceptance movement isn't suggesting that anyone gain 50 pounds or eat to excess. We're hoping that people will accept us, anyone, as they are, regardless of their shape or size.
The fat acceptance movement had achieved something many of us wouldn't have ever thought was possible. It was now at the forefront of an industry that had arguably been the most responsible in ostracising the fat amongst us. But just like practically everything else in Western society, we were divided on how to perceive this cover. Was it a huge step forward in personal acceptance, or exploitation by cold capitalists who are essentially glorifying obesity? If I couldn't speak to Tess, it was important I could speak to someone from the same industry. That's why I headed to London to meet Jocelyn. Jocelyn is a plus-size model who has worked with brands such as QVC, Versace, and Vivienne Westwood. I knew she couldn't speak directly for Tess, but I felt she could offer some plus-size expertise.
Buy or Rent, the documentary that had everyone talking.
People genuinely believe that fat people deserve to be miserable, dead, unhappy, unsuccessful, and unlovable. I think both you and this film are completely disgusting, and I will actively tell people not to watch this film.
You should only skip this film if you can't hear the truth.
We've got to get over it a little bit here and get into the real world.
Buy or Rent, FAT-TOPIA.